Oh, I was muted. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Okay, can you hear me now?
I can.
Okay, awesome. Try. I think it's recording now because people are
Shall we
asking
start?
to have it. Yeah, I guess we can start. Yes.
You gonna record it?
Yes, it's now recording. Let me check.
You don't want
Yes,
it
it is
recording?
recording now. No,
Okay.
I'm gonna have to record it because people are asking for
Are you
recording.
going full video or no?
Not really, but maybe like Mariusz can like maybe share his screen later, a little bit later, and let people
Awesome.
see, just a quick look on the MVP.
Where we're at right now?
Yeah, so
Sounds good.
anyway, hello everyone. Welcome. This is not our like official AMA, but a lot of you are asking for us to, do a very quick or a very short AMA, and so here we are. We're gonna do a big one, an official AMA on the onset of the TGE. And again, that is pre-scheduled on the 31st of May. We want the token to launch on the 31st of May. However, several factors may affect that, including the strategy and the marketing initiatives of the centralized exchanges that we're going to get listed to. So, but we want the token to be listed on the 31st, and we're going to do an AMA sometime before the TGE. So, yeah. So, welcome to Swords of Blood. My name is Vee. And I have here James, who is our CEO, and Mariusz, our game development director. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Today we're gonna discuss some information about the Swords of Blood, the game itself, the current. The plans for the future, the current development status, and all of that. And then we're going to show you a little bit of what the game looks like. Yeah. Maybe we'll be here for like 20, 30 minutes max.
I'll just walk really fast.
Yeah. At the end of the AMA, you guys can ask your questions. If you don't want to like to talk on the voice chat, that's okay. You can just type in your questions on the chat and I'll read them.
No worries. So you want me to give the overall what's going on right now and all that?
Yes, please. Yes, please. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, as everybody knows, we've had some delays, and some of these have been forced on us by the market conditions, and then of course the FTX debacle did not help anything. So we decided to basically, wait till the market had recovered, and it hasn't recovered, but it looks pretty good, right now at 28,000. So we want to make sure the game comes out in a basically, not in a total bear market. But what we're looking at here right now is, I think Mariusz is going to put it up on the screen. We are finalizing the front end of the game. So what that means is that the game will now take every currency. So fiat, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, it will take every token. It will also let you trade your NFTs inside and out of the game flawlessly. And the cool thing about it is if you're a traditional gamer, it creates a custodial wallet for you. So when we're on Google Play or iOS, you don't want to be on the blockchain, you don't have to be. But if you're on the blockchain like most of us are, then, you can pay with anything, Binance, whatever you want, Ether. We're on Polygon's network, but we will bridge it automatically for you. You won't even have to do one thing. You won't pay any fees. If there are fees, we'll pay them. So we want to make sure that the access to the game is immediate for everybody. Now, this game did come from the game Bladebound. Bladebound has made $5 million to date, 4.9 million downloads. Now, me and Mariusz worked for the company that made Bladebound. In fact, we were two of the people who came up with the idea. Mariusz most definitely came up with the idea. I met him a long, long time ago when I worked for a AAA game company. He had this idea for Bladebound sketched out literally on paper. So he's really the mastermind behind this. Artifacts, unfortunately, had some issues, and they decided to move on from Bladebound. And so me being an RPG maker since, I don't want to date myself, the 80s, and Mariusz being the father of this game decided to take it down its roadmap. And what that means is a fully brand new free-to-play mechanics model, a new tutorial, basically upgrading the Unity engine, and then finally making a PC version of this game. So in fact, while we make a PC version, we might as well make a cross-play. So we did. So we will have the PC version will be out in about 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks. I'm pushing Mariusz on this. And then we've got the front end, which will be finished in 4. So we will have some of you who participated in the coin and in our token sale will be invited to the closed beta. Now we've raised I'm so stoked in the pre-sale. We have raised $1.28 million. We are trying to raise 1.5 or 1.6, I can't remember. So this is as low as the token's going to be. If you want to be in, get in. Vee, are we at 100% release at TG on these tokens?
Yes, for the pre-sale, yes.
Okay, so the pre-sale gives you 100% release at launch. So you're going to make 40% no matter what, because based on the liquidity models. But if you're a moron, I would not sell your tokens, man. This game is as you can see, is not a play to earn game. So we don't have to keep recreating tokens to pay off tokens we already have. This game has lots of in-app purchases. It will bring in tons of money. So, and the coolest thing in the world is that this game is an amazing game on its own. And if it has 150 hours of gameplay, frame rates are 60 frames per second at 4K in PC. And what the cool thing is that what it didn't have was multiplayer. So we're bringing in a crack team basically to do 4, 8, and 16 player multiplayer for this game, which will give us the ability to take this game to the next level. And that invites us for the next expansion pack being written by the guy who did Cyberpunk and Witcher 3. We have soundtrack work being done by some really killer artists out there. John Moyer from Disturbed, and the list will come out shortly, but they'll be doing original track work for background work in this game. And then we have Ben Abbott, who's our weapons analyst now from Forged in Fire. He's creating our new Sword of Blood. So as you can see, this game has a long roadmap. I would say right now we're looking at a 3-year timeline that I've already have in my head for where this game is going to go. And it's going to go towards more of a community-based MMO game where you can do dungeon raids. This, quite frankly, and I'm going to say point blank, is a Diablo killer. And this game will be one of the best games on blockchain, period. Because quite frankly, we are a AAA game company. And most people making blockchain games are not AAA game developers, are there. They hire one dude, as a AAA game guy, put him out there like, here, we're working, this guy's our reference guy. I've been making games for 36 years, like I said. I made Command & Conquer, Rainbow Six, Ghost Recon. I know a little bit about basically PvP. So we'll be hiring away one of the guys who did Dota, who will be producing the PvP maps. And we will be using most of the team I did with Command & Conquer with as our development team for the PvP maps. So thus we can crack these out in 8 months. So you're looking at a Q4 launch of the PvP. And so before that, we will launch the game as is. So Blade Bound with all the changes and front end changes. And we're going to be, giving a lot of great things to the people like you guys who've been there since day one. And I really can't appreciate it more because this game really does deserve it. It's super detailed. It's got so much going on in it. There's been a lot of money spent in developing this game. It just needed some tweaks and some additions and the right kind of marketing. And we think we're going to deliver it. We're hoping, that our community takes advantage of this pre-sale as much as they can because we want you guys to make as much money as you can because you guys are in the know. This token's not going to ever, and I will say this, ever be 0.5 again. So it goes to 0.7 next round, and then it goes to 0.9, and then that's it. So we're going to raise a certain amount of money. We went to GDC just recently. It was amazing. We showed the game off. I'm not going to mention names, but he came from a company called Zynga, and we were meeting with some investors, and they were using this guy as their kind of like game guru. And, he was giving me the attitude, I know a lot about games, blah, blah, and he does, but I can tell you right now, we spoke for 30 minutes and he never took his eyes off that screen. He played the game almost straight for 30 minutes. And he took to me, he handed it back the phone to Mariusz. He said, this is a great game. So we are in talks right now with this VC company right now to basically pick up the slack for all of the rest of the development we need to have done. So this will be one of your last opportunities to buy tokens. So I suggest you do. We will have, I think Vee will be announcing shortly a new GUT sale, and we don't call them NFTs anymore. We call them game utility tokens because that's what they are. They literally are a game utility token. They're able to be played in game, and I will have the first of its kind phygital item announcement probably next month where we'll be having a physical version of an item that you'll be able to have on your desk as miniature or on your wall as large, and then obviously in game and on your phone. So that's kind of where we're at. It's a great time to be on the Swords of Blood team because everything's going so fast and so great. So if there's any questions, I would love to answer them. Please feel free, even if you want my recipe for sourdough bread or whatever you want, let me know. Just make sure you ask the questions you need. All right.
Right. So I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but Mariusz is actually sharing his screen right now. This is the developer's version of the game. As you can see, it is live. He is playing it right now. So again, our MVP is playable. Most of our partners have already tried it, and that's why they are partners with us. We have, and this is one of the biggest advantages of Swords of Blood compared to other GameFi projects, right? A lot of GameFi projects, as James has mentioned, they don't really have that background in game development. They hire 1-2 people to create the game, and then they launch the project. But here in Swords of Blood, it's different because the team is composed of game development veterans. And not just game development, but also game marketing and user acquisition. We all have that experience, that background about just making the game, not just making the game, but making the game big. So
I've had the opportunity. Thank you, Vee. I've had the opportunity. I'm sorry to cut you off. I had the opportunity to work with some great people in my life, and I've been blessed to work with the guys. Like in my beginning of my career, getting the opportunity when I used to have to be sent to this farm in Minnesota. My dad would send me out there all the time. The kind of the city boy going to the farm. He hated me being anything to do with gaming. He hated all that, so he wanted me to be more like him, I guess, but. In the end, there was a company called Mech in Minnesota, and they were near my grandpa's house. And my grandfather was like the coolest guy in the world. He realized that I wanted to do something different. So he knew some guys at Mech, and he got me this like cheesy internship. I was like 15. And it turned out that I ended up working and helped coding the game Oregon Trail, which Mech made. And it was the version that with the pictures and everything you see. Didn't get credited, didn't make any money off it, but it was my first experience in gaming. And then I was able to kind of push that forward and fast forward to getting a college degree. And my first job was with Will Wright with SimCity. And if you've never had the opportunity to meet Mr. Wright, he is one of the greatest guys in the world. He's an absolute genius. I've never really met anybody like him before in my life. And then fast forward a little further, and I was able to work with one of the greatest marketing legends in the world, and that's Kevin O'Leary, the bald guy on Shark Tank. Not the greatest guy in the world.
Wow, you did?
Like that. Yeah,
Mr. Wonderful, right?
Mr. Wonderful. I worked next to his office for 8 years. So,
That's
so
awesome.
basically, I watched the learning company become. Well, we were Softkey International, and then we bought the learning company, and then we bought Broderbund, and then we bought pretty much the freaking world. What it seemed like in software. We basically, if we didn't own you, we published you. So we had, at one point, the learning company owned 80% of the shelf space at Best Buy, all of it at Walmart, all of it at Target, all of it at Costco. So if you wanted to get into those stores, you had to publish through us. And Kevin was brutal. But, I've never met a guy who knows retail or marketing better than Mr. O'Leary. He was able to do things, and I was able to learn things that I probably would have never have learned. So I know a little bit about game marketing, and this game actually will see some retail. So we will have some, gift cards out there at GameStop. We will, think about if we can get Microsoft or Sony to look at this and figure out how we can work the NFTs within the Xbox and Sony world. This game will come out on console. So stay tuned. We just got to make sure we can just somehow work the gameplay on console, and maybe we can have the NFTs on PC. Be the issue going in and out, and maybe they don't go out on the Xbox, but you're able to play on Xbox. We just got to figure that out with the third parties. If you've seen lately, if you haven't seen it, and I'm not pushing the game, believe me, because it's a freaking play to win game of all. I mean, Game of Thrones Conquest is a money grab. It's awesome, but man, you can't even compete in that game unless you spend thousands. So please do not get addicted to that game. But I'm saying as a reference to that, Warner's done something pretty wild. you can buy a game pack or tokens or whatever, but that's on the Apple site. However, they have stones now, or gems, which literally takes you out to the Warner site. And so there's no money being shared with Apple at all. So we're in talks with Apple and Google on how we're going to work our game within their ecosystem. But suffice to say, everything's going super great. And I hope you have some good questions because I'm looking forward to them.
As I've mentioned, if you guys don't want to speak on the voice chat, that's totally fine. You can type in your questions on the chat and we'll be answering them from there. Mariusz, is there anything you want to add? I mean, what's the status of the development at this point?
We're still working on the...
Hello, Mariusz?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Mariusz
always sounds so doctor. He sounds like he's got a PhD and everything. He's got such a smart voice.
Yeah, we're working on the closed beta basically. So wrap the token, Polygon token implementation, and yeah, then we'll release and we'll see. First, I think we'll release it on the testnet. We'll see that just to see if there's any security vulnerabilities out there, and after that we'll see and slowly move forward to the open beta. But for that, I need to be sure that everything is it's clear on the security side.
So the cool thing about that is we'll have the testnet tokens. We'll have the testnet tokens, which means if you upgrade your system, we'll be getting. If you're part of the closed beta, let's just put it this way: you're going to get a jump on everybody because we're going to give you tokens for free. We're going to give you a shit ton of testnet tokens. They're in place of the sword token that you probably already own. But like Mariusz said, this is a 1 or 2 month or possibly longer test to make sure the security is bulletproof. But go ahead, Vee. I'm sorry.
I mean, isn't it that the first version of the beta will launch in Android, or can we also, or is it possible that we'll also have the iOS version?
iOS is difficult. I would say Android, it's definitely working. Even if we don't get listed on Android on the Google Play, we can still share the build as an APK.
We'll share the APK, but iOS, like Mariusz said, it's not just the build. It's us working with, and I'm working with Apple right now on a compromise on how we work with the game.
Yeah, but we're also working on the PC version. So maybe that's possible. We'll see how the dev team will handle that. But Android is so solid as an APK. We'll see exactly which platforms we should.
As you can tell, Mariusz is kind of the realist of our team. He's the guy who has to do all the technical work. And as you can really tell, I'm the dreamer of this team. So, and I'm probably the guy no one like Mariusz wants to have on a team because I want things done like yesterday and don't understand why they can't be done. I feel like a 3-year-old. I'm like a 3-year-old kid who wants ice cream, So it's anyways. But it's great having a guy like Mariusz on the team because things corners aren't going to get cut. He's so detailed that he keeps things rolling for us. So, like I said, that's what makes this team so special.
Right. So, as Mariusz and James has mentioned, some of you guys who participated on the pre-sale will have exclusive access to the closed beta of the MVP that we currently have. And additionally, you will also have exclusive access to the Dev Diary. We'll also be giving away limited legendary in-game weapons. You'll automatically be whitelisted for upcoming GUT sales, or what we call NFT sales. We're going to have some more loot box sale. We did one on January. We did one in January. And then we're going to have another at the end of the pre-sale rounds. So at the end of pre-sale 3, we're going to have another loot box sale, so that we wanted to have use cases for the token as soon as it goes out, right? Because also that is one of the things, or one of the fallbacks of other GameFi projects. When they launch their token, they don't have a use case yet, and we wanted to have a use case. So we're gonna do a lot of loot box sales. As a pre-sale investor, you'll be automatically whitelisted for the NFT sales. You'll be prioritized at the first hour of the loot box sales. Aside from that, you'll have entries to some digital giveaways that we're also going to do. And we're going to think of more exciting prizes to include as a benefit for our early adopters. And speaking of loot box sales, we are currently in the process of making or creating partnerships with some of the biggest gaming guilds in Web3. You probably know some of them. I'm not going to mention any names for now because we are still polishing the agreement with them. But yes, so we're going to have loot box sales that are exclusive to some gaming guilds. Again, some of them are the biggest, and you most likely know some of them. And yeah, so we're definitely gonna think about more use cases in the future. And so, yeah, watch out for the loot box sales that are coming. And we have our first question coming in. So from Bogdan, he asked, if the game will launch on Android or PC, people will start to play. It's not a question, but yeah, people with iOS will start later. Do we have like a timeline of when the iOS version can possibly launch?
It's got a lot to do with Apple right now. It really does, and how we're going to maneuver around that ecosystem. It really is. We probably will take an approach like Warner has. It will probably be there'll probably be some rules or regulations on the GUTs coming in and out of the game. So most likely the trading of the game utility tokens will have to happen on our site only. Probably will not be able to happen in game on the iOS system, but it will take you to our portal. So it's almost the same thing, guys. You'll be in the game. Like I said, Game of Thrones Conquest does this. You're in their game and you push something and it takes you to their external servers. So it will happen like that. The thing about it is I've done business with Apple since, literally the beginning. I won't tell you my Steve Jobs story today, but I'll tell you it some other time. Anyway, long story short, I don't want to mess with them. I have a good reputation with them. We'll be featured with them. We'll get all the love from them. So we're really working close. They're only about 60 miles from my house. So we'll be having a lot more personal talks as we get this out. So we'll probably be about I don't know about the development time, but we're definitely a month and 6 weeks at least from the Android version on just the Apple, how it's going to be framed out as far as how we're going to have a game on their site.
Good to know. So also regarding that, if you notice on our token allocation or on our tokenomics, you'll see there is an off-chain custodial wallet that's actually part of the liquidity. Basically what happens is that to bypass the, because as James has mentioned, there is a very strict policy in terms of cryptocurrency when it comes to Apple on App Store and all that. So we have to have a bypass, something that so that the token can still be tradable, or you can still purchase the token.
I would use the word solution, not bypass, but
yes,
bypass.
Exactly.
No. So it's the solution we will have. And we will use our good friends from Warner as basically hey, they're doing it, so, but I don't want to piss them off. I want to make sure that they're okay with what we're doing, and we'll pay them fairly. If we work with Apple well, they'll work with us well. It'll be great. But I'm not taking on Apple, and be a jerk about it. So we could get the game out on Apple right now, just throw the game down, and here it is. You see what you can do about it. But we're going to work with them, make sure everything is cool, and make sure that the game is successful as it is right now. It's made over $2.5 million on iOS. So let's keep that rolling.
That's true. That's true. Oh, and since we already mentioned a while ago that the original game of Bladebound already has about 5 million in downloads. That's combined on both Android and iOS versions, right? And it has a 4.5 out of 5-star review rating on both as again on Android and iOS. So yeah, however, the catch with that is the development, the marketing, the user acquisition, or any activity actually happening or happened in Bladebound has stopped back in 2018. Am I right? 2019-ish, around that time. And so since then,
everything stopped.
Yeah, so since then, no activity, no further development has happened in the Bladebound game. And it's quite sad because it's a good game. It still has a very active community of gamers. In fact, last month, it's still without development since like 3 years ago. It still has this gamers and they're still bringing in revenue to the game. I think last month it had like 34K, and that is
which is crazy. I mean that's crazy. No one's. It's like 50,000 a month coming in, or 60,000 between it, and they've done nothing to the game.
Yep,
and
exactly.
We'll release it with a new upgraded engine, new upgraded graphics. It's giving it with the game what it deserves, but it's really cool that we see those people still hanging on and doing even though they probably run out of things to do quite some time ago. But, it's one of those games where it's, look at the review. I mean, think about it this way. The game, reviews on games mean a lot. Artifact's money spent, almost zero money on user acquisition. I can tell you right now, those guys are the most honest people I know, Mariusz included. He's one of those guys, if you basically borrowed $10 from you, he would tap you on the shoulder 10 years later and give you the $10 with interest. That's the kind of guy Mariusz is. And that's the kind of guys Artifact's money guys are too. So they aren't fudging the reviews like a lot of people do. They don't have bots, placing 5.0 reviews on iOS and Google Play. Those are all real reviews. And to be over 4.5 on a game that is you spent almost zero money on, it's pretty impressive. So that was one of the biggest reasons that I basically said we're going forward with this project.
That's right. And also the current game, the MVP, just the MVP version, already features a couple of game modes, different game modes. So we have the campaign mode, which is currently like 200 hours of game time. As you can see here on the screen right now, we have Monster Hunt, Boss Fortress, we have PvP, again, campaign, dungeons. We have different kinds of dungeons. And there are actually still monthly. I think the last time I checked on the Bladebound, they still have like monthly seasons, seasonal passes and all that.
There's a pass, but there's also a weekly event. It's going every week. It's still a lot. We still have a lot of ideas how to expand it. One of the biggest miss in the current build is, in my opinion, clans. That should be added. That will add it. And some more multiplayer features.
That's modes. True. So with the current game modes that we have, most of this are actually asynchronous game modes. So meaning to say that, for example, with the PvP, so it's player versus player, right? Asynchronous means that you are gonna play against another player's character. However, you are actually playing with a bot, not with a person at the same time, if that makes sense. And also with the Boss Fortress, it's kind of like that as well. You'll be with Boss Fortress. What it is that you will be teamed up with 4 other players to make up 5 in the team, and then you're gonna raid the dungeons, right? So these are also asynchronous, and this is the current development that we're doing right now is that we want this to eventually become synchronous, and also we're adding other features such as clans and tournaments as well. And again, as we keep on mentioning, we envision Swords of Blood to eventually become community-centric game, for it to become MMORPG eventually. So yeah, a lot of development. There is already a 3-year plan that is that we have in mind. So yeah, we are definitely here in the long term. And we have some questions actually. So what's the market cap on the launch? If my memory serves me right, the initial market cap on launch is going to be about 3 million. You can check out the tokenomics on the website for the exact numbers. And then we have another question. Is there a limit for playtime, or is it unlimited grind game? Like we have to use energy to enter campaign modes and the energy will replenish with time?
Yes, as far as it goes, it's pretty much unlimited for playing within the campaign and other features, but the limitations will be in the events and the tournaments. So you'll either have to have certain things stored up or push things by paying to advance things faster. But everyone will get to play in the tournaments. This is how many times you want to play in the tournaments. You know, there's the guys who want to play. I got to play all day long. You know, so there'll be ways to pay for them to pay for that. But there'll also be ways of people just to play the game normally and get enough gems and stones and things like that to enter tournaments on a regular basis. You know, what I would feel would be a normal amount of game time. So we're not going to make this game a play to win game, pay to win game. But, you know, there's some guys who just have to have, you know, the best armor right now, and they'll be able to do that, you know, but it will cost you, you know. But those guys who play games like me or whatever, just want to grind it out and play, you'll get the opportunity.
That's true. Yeah, so I think the question. Go ahead.
I'll just add one thing. So there is no hard cap on the gameplay. You can play the campaign as much as you like. Although after a couple of times each day, you will not get the loot from the levels, and there is a cap on the events, like a daily. You can always reset the cap using gems. So it basically depends how you play. If you're playing smart, I think you can play for most of the day and getting some things out of it. So yeah.
I think this question roots on most GameFi being play to earn games. That's why they're asking if is it unlimited grind game. So let's just be clear that Swords of Blood is free to play game, and I think a lot of people, when they hear free to play, they misunderstand it and they think that it's not gonna acquire a lot of revenue, because technically you are not gonna pay anything, right, to start the game. And that's actually incorrect mindset, because last year for 2022, the global revenue for the digital gaming is actually about $184 billion, right? That's the total revenue for the entire digital gaming industry. But about 85% of that actually comes from free to play games. And that's a lot. Imagine there are obviously a lot of games out there that you have to pay before you can play it. But 85% of the global revenue is still coming from free-to-play games, and that's a big thing. And that's why we want to stick to the free-to-play model. And what we are offering to compensate with that is a very exciting, obviously very beautiful game right here. And so that is what people are looking for, right? Entertainment.
Like we're talking about the Game of Thrones Conquest game from Warner. The game is going to hit $1 billion. Just imagine that, a game is going to hit $1 billion. That's to me crazy. You know, when I think about the games I've made in my lifetime, but for a game that's free to play, it is going to hit $1 billion in revenue this month. It will total from release till now $1 billion, and that's nothing compared to League of Legends or any of those other games. They're in Candy Crush. It sounds stupid. You think Candy Crushes are how about Homescapes and Gardenscapes? So basically a game where you don't own anything. You're building a house. You're building a garden. You don't own them, but both of those games are I know. Both of those games are multi-billion-dollar franchises, not billion, multi-billion.
Mm-hmm.
So we let people play the game, and if you're just a normal game player and you're not impatient and you don't want everything now, then the game's free. But if you want to accelerate time or to have things now, it costs you money. So that's basically what kind of game player are you? That's what you've got to decide. You can spend nothing on this game. Literally, you could play for hundreds of hours for free.
Yeah, so that's exactly why we are sticking with the free-to-play model, because obviously the revenue, the money is there. We just have to make an effort with the user acquisition, with marketing the game. And again, this team is very much have the professional experience when it comes to that. So we'll take care of that part. We have another question. What's the minimum or recommended system requirements for Android? I think they might be asking for the beta or the game itself.
I think the phone that is comparable to Galaxy S9 would be preferable, I would say. So it's a quite old phone. I think it's a 6-year-old phone. So I think most of the phones currently will handle it easily.
Sorry about that.
True. Okay. And we have another question. When is the estimated?
Turn off your video for a second. I want to show something when at the very end. At the very end, turn your video off. Not now, but just at the very end.
Okay. So, we okay?
Yeah.
So right now or later?
No, look at the very end.
Okay.
You can keep playing right now.
Yeah. Okay. So our next question is, do we have an estimated PC release or any plans on getting on Steam? And how many different type of characters are there? So many questions. But yeah. Okay. Estimated PC release, and do we have plans on getting on Steam?
Estimated PC release is probably 8 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks. Steam, I'll be talking to Gabe and how he's dealing with game utility tokens or NFTs. There are also several companies out there that are kind of they call themselves the Steam of blockchain. So we'll be on lots of PC stores and on that realm. We'll be on the Epic store. But yeah, we'll have to massage things with Steam. Epic's a little bit more liberal. And we're also going to be on several PC stores within the blockchain area. Characters, Mariusz, how many at launch?
We don't have characters per se. We have the armors that you wear. There is
how many different heroes are there? Do you know?
Again, sorry.
How many heroes are there total? Do you know?
So we don't have heroes. We have armors.
I mean, no, our guys. I mean, basically
on the legendary side, it's 18, and I think it's 18 for every tier. So yeah, a little bit less.
The biggest thing for me and is adding more international flavor to the game. So you'll start seeing some characters like you normally see in real life. Not saying that our characters are not real life people or they don't look like real life people, but as you can see, they're game characters. We will have some real people in the game, like normal looking people, in different colors, different ethnicities and backgrounds. So stay tuned for that. We're working on the art for those characters as we speak.
Yeah, I think at one point we'll definitely expand.
My daughter's definitely working on the art for those characters as we speak. She's, she saw the game and she really wants to see more, international flavor to the game.
Yeah. As for the publishing, right now the Steam prohibits the blockchain games, but Epic Epic is fine with that. We can self-publish on Epic. It was opened up like a couple of weeks ago, so you can basically self by yourself. You can publish the game anytime. So we will be doing that definitely. As for the timeline,
Steam will probably follow suit because they're not going to lose. I mean, as much as the big thing is, guys and girls, and everybody out there, the big thing is that. Quite frankly, the traditional gamers just hate NFTs. Hate them. I mean, they hate everything about it. They hate everything about the blockchain because, sometimes people hate what they really don't understand, because what people have to really understand is we're using the best of what blockchain gives you, and that's the ability to own things, within the game. And we'll teach people that in the traditional side because, quite frankly, are you telling me that you'd rather buy a game pack that's worthless? Is that what you're saying to me? You'd rather have a game pack that sits in your game. It's absolutely worthless. You spend $100 on. If you're okay with that, then you can keep hating blockchain all you want. But if you want to be realistic that you can take that game pack when you switch characters and don't need all that crap anymore, you can sell it now online. And if it's a legendary item and something, by the way, I don't know if Mariusz brought this up, but we're going to have technology in this game that basically keeps track of everything the weapon does and who owned it. So imagine if we, dole these weapons out to people and, and a couple of cool, rock stars play the game, and you could buy, this guy's weapon. It's going to say how many tournaments it won, how many kills it has. So that's the cool things that blockchain bring to the table. And I don't think we have to educate you on that, but quite frankly, I'm going to have some explaining to do, as my dad said, at game shows. Why in the hell am I taking this game to blockchain? That's going to be quite a few people saying that to me, but I will have a very good answer for them.
Awesome. That's really good to hear. Okay, so next question. Is there going to be a marketplace inside the game, or is it a separate website where players can buy, sell, and trade? We're actually going to have one on our website and another on, they are technically connected. So we're going to have on our website and also on our in-game. And I think this is a good time to talk about the hub now, the metaverse version of what that we have inside the game. So the MMO hub that we have, or that we will be having inside the game is it resembles a metaverse where you can meet and greet with other characters or other players within the game, and then that's going to be our marketplace. That is where you can trade with different people or buy or sell in-game items or maybe tokens, or not tokens, sorry, in-game items, legendary items, and all that. So yes, we're gonna have both on our inside the game and on our website. Anything you want to add, guys?
No, it's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, so we have another question. Will the game skill tree resemble something more akin to Diablo 2 or Diablo 3, where it isn't a tree-based? Sorry, I'm not familiar with Diablo gameplay, to be honest with you. Or is it more like a Path of Exile, where every character has the opportunity to create a varied build, but may not be suitable for a certain character type?
So,
Mariusz?
I think it's a little bit different. So basically, the skills are tied to the item you are. So basically, you can change your play style depending on what type of armor you have, armor or items. So each item, Sentinel. So that's the lady on the back. She's like a magical helper to you. Armor have another skill. You can read all of that on the item page. What's the skill of the item? So basically, by upgrading the item, you can also upgrade the skill level of the attached skill, and basically you can mix and match whatever skills you want to have and play with that.
Yeah, so if you want to learn more about that, we actually have that on our white paper under item system and elements. So the items that we have in the game are all under or are grouped based on rarity, right? There's common, uncommon, rare, epic, and legendary. And among those, or all items are also grouped into elements. We have fire, nature, dark, light, water, and we have neutral or physical. And then for you to upgrade or level up your items, there are two ways to do that. One is level up and another is blessing. So these are all discussed on our white paper. Again, you can check it out under item, system, and elements on the core gameplay chapter of the white paper. Yeah,
awesome.
So
thanks, Vee.
I think that is the last question that I have.
Okay.
Or
Mariusz, can you stop
right
sharing
now.
your screen for a second?
There we go.
Okay, for those of you, when I brought up the whole thing about this game being drawn on paper, this is one of the very first sketches of the hero that was made for this game, and it was used in an art book that was published, 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago, that we gave out at game shows. But it really shows you, how the concept of where this game has gone from, and the team's excellence, and how they were literally just able to just sketch this hero out, and then the hero moved forward and then moved forward and then moved forward in development. So as you see this sketch and how far the game has come, just realize that the team that's involved now at this game as is, look how far it will go soon. So we're able to take something from that sketch to what it is now, and what we have now, we'll take it to another level very shortly. So please stay tuned. This is a special game, and I'm looking forward to everyone playing it soon.
All right, so we have just one more question. I think we can end the AMA here. They're asking, how does the 4 versus 4 versus 4, basically the 16-player PvP works? Is it like Dota?
It's going to be a lot like Dota and Command and Conquer. So it will have 4 teams of 4 starting in 4 different corners like Command and Conquer did. There'll be all kinds of power-ups and things like that that'll be changed out all the time. It won't be the same, where they find them. So it's your choice to partner up with another team or whatever to go after somebody. But it's kind of like, I don't know if you play the game Risk, but you know how Risk plays. There's always you have to partner up sometime to annihilate somebody and then go after each other in the end. So it's going to be very strategic. And we'll make sure it won't be instantly. The map will be pretty damn big, so it'll take some time to win, and there'll be a lot of strategy involved. But stay tuned. I'm looking forward to talking to the guy, the producer who will be producing this, and his ideas. But for me, it's going to have a lot of Command and Conquer kind of love. Fog of War, of course, on the map, so you won't see anything until you open it. So, anyways, stay tuned, and if you guys have ideas, I don't have that much pride that I can't take someone's idea and use it. So if you guys want to ping me or send me your ideas about how you'd like to see the multiplayer, then shoot them to me. I'd be more than happy to listen or to read them.
Okay, so I posted a video preview of the PvP map, or the 16-player PvP map that we are envisioning. This is just a mock-up for now, but the real one is gonna look like close. Yes, very close to that. Very, very close to that. So that's a preview of what we're currently working on. And again, Swords of Blood, eventually what we envision it to become is for it to be community-centric game, just like Dota 2, as you've mentioned, just like Mobile Legends. I'm a huge Mobile Legends fan and player. So yeah, very, very excited for all the progress. Anything that you wanted to add before we close the AMA, James, Mariusz?
No, like I said before, but if you guys play games out there and you have some things that, hey, this is a really good feature, just shoot the idea to me, because maybe it'll be in our game, and we'll give you credit. I have no problem giving people credit, but we want this game to be the coolest thing on, the cool kid on the block. So if the community wants to help us, more power to them.
Exactly. So again, thank you so much for everyone who's been here. If you weren't able to attend the AMA, no worries. I've recorded this and I'll be posting it in a while. And yeah, so if you haven't yet, as now, we are still in the first stage of the pre-sale. You can purchase it for 0.054 right now. And when we open the pre-sale second round, it's going to be 0.07. So a huge difference in price.
And then over.
Yep.
So
exactly. So yeah, we are going to end the AMA right now. However, we're going to have so much more AMAs in the coming weeks, and definitely something much bigger on the TGE. In the meantime, happy weekend, everyone. I know awesome. It's Friday, probably Saturday on some parts of the world already. It's Saturday to me, actually. So yeah, we'll see you guys next time. And if you have any questions, our chats are always open. We have friendly moderators 24/7. And as much as possible, or as much as we can, we try to be there to answer your questions directly. So yeah, thanks again, everyone. Happy weekend. And take care, everyone.
Right. Take care.